Okay, moving right along to the number specific tools. Taking a look at the transform tab in the query editor. Towards the end there, you'll see this grouping of tools. These are our number tools. And we've got some interesting options in here. First, we've got statistics options. These are aggregation style functions like sum, minimum, maximum, average, count values, count distinct. And what's interesting about these is that they evaluate these functions for an entire selected column and return a single value. So you can't use them to create a new column, and you don't evaluate on a row by row basis. So as you can probably guess, this isn't really helpful when it comes to shaping or transforming data or prepping it for loading, but it is helpful to explore and better understand the data that you're working with. Next up, we've got standard options. So these are other statistical operations and calculations. You've got the basic standard ones like addition, multiplication, subtract, divide, etc. And then you've got some pretty crazy advanced stuff in the scientific and trigonometry buckets. You can do powers, logs, sines, tangents, and these get applied to each value in a column. So unlike the statistics options, these tools are applied to each row, and they can be used to create new calculated columns. And then last, we've got rounding tools and information options. Now the information tools basically let you just define a binary flag, either true, false, or 1, 0, to mark rows that meet certain criteria. So even, odd, positive, or negative. So let's jump into our FoodMart data file and play with some of this stuff. Okay, here we are. We've got our two workbook queries, customer lookup and store lookup at this point. Let's go ahead and bring in a third file, from file, CSV. This time we're going to grab our product lookup table. And preview looks good. We'll edit it to launch the query editing window. Let's check the table name, product underscore lookup. Nice and clean. We've got headers, which is nice. Now let's go through and just look at data types quickly. Product IDs. We've got product brand names and product names, both text. So we've already pulled in customer data. We've pulled in store specific data. Now we're looking at product specific data. So in this table, each row represents a unique product with a unique product SKU. So this gives us some interesting info about the retail price, the cost, the weight, even whether it's recyclable or low fat. So let's look at these headers. We've got product SKU. This isn't really a number. We're never going to apply any sort of statistical operation against it. So let's actually just make this text. Yes, we can replace the current step that Excel had created on its own. And there you go. Retail price and product cost. These should both actually be currency. So we can make the same changes there. Product weight looks good. Whole numbers for recyclable and low fat look good as well. So let's take a look at some of these statistics functions. And the first thing I'll call out is that you'll only find them right here in the transform menu. If you switch to add column, you'll see they're grayed out. And again, that's because you can't add a column. They're really just going to transform a column into a single value. So one thing that might be interesting to look at here is how many products are in this table. So we can select product SKU, go into statistics, and say let's count the distinct values. And it just returns that one number. So you can see why this really isn't a transformation or a data shaping tool. This is more of an exploration tool. So 1,560 unique products in this data set. So we can close that out to get back to where we were. And maybe now we want to see, okay, we know there are 1,560 products, but how many unique brands are there? Transform, statistics, count distinct, 111 unique brands. So it's pretty interesting. You can use these tools to kind of feel out your data and get a sense of what's going on. Maybe you want to look at product retail price, which is a quantitative field, and say, okay, let's look at the average. And now we know that the retail price on average is only about $2.12. So that's how to use the statistics tools in the transform column to kind of learn more about your data. Now let's take a look at some of these standard mathematical operations. Why don't we select the product retail price here and go into standard Oh, see, I'm in the transform column. I actually want to add a new column this time. And let's apply multiplication to this product retail price column. Let's multiply every value in that product retail price column by 0.9. And maybe that's to say, we run discounts and it's typically a 10% off deal. So we'll want to create a column that's 90% of the original product retail price. So when we do that, it creates a new price here at the end. It's called by default inserted multiplication. One thing I haven't really called out yet is that you can customize the names of these. So it usually does a pretty good job giving you standard default descriptive names. But for this one, maybe we want to right click and rename that calculated discount price. It's a little bit more descriptive. And now it's currency, which is good, but it's still got 3 decimal places. So if we were to go up into the rounding tools right now and press round and select 2, what's going to happen is that it's going to create a second column with 2 decimal points because we just selected the rounding tool in the add column tab, since that's where we just were. So you can see how easy it is to make these kinds of mistakes when there's the same set of tools that look identical in 2 different places. So we can just go ahead and remove the first version, and we can name this column something like discount underscore price. And press enter, and there you go, we should be good to go. So the thing about these tools is that they're all pretty straightforward. Even the information ones, which are a little bit different, you can just basically convert or add a column that labels things true false based on the sign or whether it's even or odd. But the best way to learn this stuff is really just to play with it. Just try different tools and see what the output is. Honestly, that's how you're really going to get comfortable with all these tools. But for the most part, super user-friendly, super easy to use. So with that, let's go ahead and close and load to. Just the connection, load it to the data model. Here we'll see it firing up. And then we get that familiar 1,560 unique products in that table. Quick peek at the data model. Now we've got our third tab with product lookup, including that discount price column that we created. So all good there. Let's close the data model, give another save on our Food Mart data model workbook, and there you have it, number specific tools.